Those 7 words can turn a routine traffic stop into a full-blown vehicle search in under 2 minutes. And the worst part is, most drivers talk themselves into it without even realizing what they're doing. A cop leans into your window and asks, "Are you hiding something?" Your stomach drops. Your chest tightens. Your brain instantly starts searching for the right answer. And in that exact moment, most people accidentally give police the one thing they were looking for. Not drugs, not weapons, not evidence. A reaction. By the end of this video, you're going to learn the exact words experienced defense lawyers want you to say when police try this tactic. Words that protect your rights, shut down the psychological pressure, and stop you from making the mistake that turns a simple traffic stop into a nightmare. And once you understand what officers are really doing when they ask this question, you'll never look at traffic stops the same way again. Before we get into it, subscribe to the channel right now because I post videos every week exposing police tactics, explaining your constitutional rights, and showing you exactly what to say during traffic stops and police encounters. Most people don't learn this information until after they've already been arrested. You're learning it before that ever happens to you. Now let's talk about what's really happening here. Picture this. It's late. You're driving home. Maybe you just left work. Maybe you just left dinner with friends. Maybe you're tired and just trying to get home. Suddenly, red and blue lights flash behind you. You pull over. The officer walks up to your window. At first, everything seems normal. He asks for your license, registration, and insurance. You hand everything over politely. Then the questions begin. Where are you coming from? Where are you headed? How long were you there? Who were you with tonight? And like most people, you answer because you think cooperating will help end the stop faster. But then something changes. The officer pauses. He looks inside your car. He scans the back seat, looks down at the floorboards, then looks directly at you and says, "Are you hiding something?" That sentence changes the entire energy of the stop, because now you no longer feel like someone getting a traffic ticket. You feel like a suspect. And that feeling is exactly what the officer wants. Most people immediately panic when they hear this question. Their brain starts screaming. Why does he think that? Did I do something wrong? What if he searches my car? What if he arrests me? And once fear kicks in, people start talking. Fast. No, officer, absolutely not. I swear there's nothing illegal in here. You can check if you want. I'm not hiding anything. I've got nothing to hide. And just like that, the stop starts spiraling out of control. Here's what most drivers completely misunderstand. When an officer asks, "Are you hiding something?" that does not automatically mean he already has evidence. In many situations, the officer has absolutely nothing. No smell of drugs. No illegal items in plain view. No probable cause. No warrant. Nothing. So instead, the officer starts fishing. And this question is one of the oldest psychological tactics in policing because officers know human beings hate being accused. The average person cannot tolerate suspicion. They feel this overwhelming urge to defend themselves, to explain themselves, to prove innocence. But traffic stops are not conversations between equals. This is not some casual interaction. This is an investigation. And the moment you forget that, you start helping build the case against yourself. Police officers are trained to observe behavior under stress. That's why the question is so effective. Because while you're focused on answering, the officer is focused on studying you. Your breathing, your voice, your eye movement, your hands, your posture. Did your hands suddenly shake? Did your voice crack? Did you look toward the glove box? Did you glance at the backpack on the back seat? Did you suddenly become overly defensive? Everything becomes part of the officer's mental checklist. And later, many of those observations can magically appear in a police report as indicators of criminal activity. That's how ordinary drivers accidentally escalate a stop without even realizing it. Now here's the scary part. A lot of innocent people make this mistake because they think innocence protects them. It doesn't. Being innocent does not stop police from searching your car. Being innocent does not stop police from detaining you longer. Being innocent does not stop police from twisting nervous behavior into suspicion. In fact, innocent people are often the easiest to manipulate because they believe cooperating fully will automatically clear everything up. But experienced defense attorneys know something most people don't. The roadside is one of the worst places in the world to try proving your innocence. Why? Because nervousness looks suspicious. Talking too much looks suspicious. Talking too little looks suspicious. Looking away looks suspicious. Looking directly at the officer too long also looks suspicious. Almost anything can be framed as suspicious once an officer decides to view you through that lens. That's why your goal during a traffic stop is not convincing the officer you're innocent. Your goal is protecting your rights and avoiding unnecessary escalation. Now let's talk about the psychological trap behind this question. When an officer asks, "Are you hiding something?" he creates immediate emotional pressure. You suddenly feel accused. And once people feel accused, they stop thinking logically. Their brain enters defense mode. That's when people start volunteering information they were never required to give. I mean, my friend left his bag in the back seat, but I don't know what's inside. There's some prescription medication in the glove compartment. I had alcohol earlier, but I'm definitely not drunk. I've got a pocket knife in the center console. Every one of those statements gives the officer more information. And more information creates more opportunities for investigation. Remember this carefully. You cannot talk your way out of suspicion once an officer starts fishing for probable cause. But you absolutely can talk yourself into a bigger problem. Now here's another tactic people never notice. Sometimes the officer already knows the answer to the question he's asking. He's not asking because he needs information. He's asking because he wants to compare your answer against your body language. This is why officers often repeat the same question in slightly different ways. They're not confused. They're studying your reactions. That's why experienced lawyers constantly tell clients the same thing. Stop trying to win roadside conversations. You are not required to perform innocence for police officers. And despite what movies and television have taught people, you do not lose your rights just because an officer sounds confident or intimidating. Now let's get into the law because this part is critical. Under the Fourth Amendment, police generally need probable cause, consent, or another recognized legal justification to search your vehicle. A vague feeling is not enough. A hunch is not enough. And an officer saying, "I think you're hiding something," is not probable cause. Courts have repeatedly ruled that reasonable suspicion must be based on specific and articulable facts. Not guesses, not intuition, not vibes, actual facts. And that distinction matters enormously. Because officers often rely on drivers not understanding the difference between suspicion and legal authority. The average driver hears a confident tone and assumes the officer can legally do whatever he wants. That is not true. Police authority still has constitutional limits. And one of your most important rights is the right to refuse consent to a search. Now listen carefully because this next part may be the most important thing in the entire video. Most vehicle searches happen because drivers consent, not because police had a warrant, not because police had probable cause, because drivers, that innocent joke, that nervous explanation, that unnecessary detail, all of it can later be interpreted in ways you never intended. This is why experienced attorneys constantly repeat one simple principle. Less talking equals less risk. Now, does this mean asserting your rights guarantees the officer won't search your car? No. Some officers will search anyway. Some may claim they smell something. Some may call for a K-9 unit. Some may continue trying to pressure you. But asserting your rights still matters enormously. Because if your rights are violated, your refusal to consent becomes critically important later. Never make the mistake of thinking rights only matter if they stop the search immediately. Rights also matter afterward. Now let me tell you the biggest takeaway from this entire video. The officer's question is not the real danger. Your reaction is. That's what determines where the stop goes next. Panic creates mistakes. Fear creates overexplaining. And overexplaining creates opportunities for investigation. But calm silence changes the entire encounter. That's why preparation matters. You cannot improvise your rights under pressure if you've never thought about them before. The drivers who handle these situations best are usually the ones who already decided ahead of time how they would respond. Now you know exactly what to say if a cop asks, "Are you hiding something?" And trust me, most people completely fail this test because emotion takes over the moment they feel accused. But now you understand the tactic. You understand the psychology behind it. And you know the exact words that protect you from making the mistake officers are hoping you'll make. If this video helped you, subscribe to the channel right now because I post new videos every week exposing police tactics, explaining your rights, and showing you exactly what to say during traffic stops and police encounters. The next video you watch on this channel could be the one that protects you during your next interaction with law enforcement.